All right, today we're going to dive into a really powerful and honestly just beautifully structured passage from the Quran. We're looking at verses 41 through 50 of Surah An-Nahl, which you might know as the Bee.
Peace and welcome to you. I'm so glad you could join me for this. We're about to jump into what is, on the surface, a short passage, but it's incredibly profound. It really speaks to some of the deepest parts of our experience, right? Things like suffering and hope, guidance and doubt, arrogance, and in the end, just pure awe.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're looking at today. It's fascinating, right? How can just 10 short verses do all of this? How can they offer comfort to someone who's suffering, but also a warning to the arrogant, and a lesson in humility from the natural world itself? It's an incredible range, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack together.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Let's delve into verses 41 through 50 of Surah An-Nahl, the Bee.
So right at the start, the passage doesn't begin with some grand command or a big cosmic statement. Instead, it starts with something deeply personal, a promise. It speaks directly to those who have been wronged, and it offers them comfort and a glimpse of what's to come.
So here's the verse itself, in the original Arabic, and even if you don't understand the language, you can almost feel the weight and the flow of the words. This is a verse of deep, deep comfort, and it's aimed at people who have made just the ultimate sacrifice, leaving their homes for the sake of their faith.
And here's the translation. Now notice this. There's actually a dual promise here. First, there's a promise of being settled in a good place in this world. That's huge. But then, right after, comes this crucial reminder. The reward of the hereafter is even greater. It kind of puts everything in perspective, doesn't it? Worldly relief is a blessing, for sure, but it's not the ultimate goal.
So who exactly is this verse talking to? Well, they're known as the Muhajirin. And this isn't just a generic term. It's a very specific and honored one. It refers to those who made the hijrah, who emigrated, leaving absolutely everything behind because they were being persecuted for their beliefs. This verse speaks right to that experience, acknowledging that incredible sacrifice.
And what's so interesting is what comes next. Verse 42 gives us this incredibly concise but powerful picture of their inner character. It's not about what they did, but about who they were. It boils down to two things. They endured and they relied on their Lord.
And these two qualities, wow, they are just foundational. They're like two pillars of faith. The first one is sabr. Now, this isn't just passive waiting around. It's an active, dynamic patience, a real endurance through tough times. And the second one is tawakkul. This is that complete, profound trust and reliance on God. The verse basically presents these two as the spiritual engine, the moral core that powers a believer through the toughest trials imaginable.
Okay, let's shift gears a little. The passage has just addressed the believers, right? Now, it pivots. It turns to deal with a common objection people had at the time, and it's all about the nature of divine guidance itself.
So this verse tackles a really big question people had. They were saying, wait a minute, the prophet, he's a human being, just like us. How can he be a messenger? And the Quran's answer is brilliant. It just points to history. It basically says, yep, and that's how it's always been. God has always sent human men as messengers. And then it throws down a challenge. If you're not sure, go ask the people who have the earlier scriptures. Go check the historical record.
So the key takeaway here is huge. The prophet's humanity isn't a flaw or a reason to doubt him. No, it's actually a confirmation of a consistent divine pattern. It shows that God communicates with us in a way we can relate to, through one of our own.
And verse 44 keeps going with this idea, explaining the purpose of the revelation. It has two main jobs, really. First, it's the prophet's role to make the message clear. And second, it's for the people to think about it, to reflect, and really ponder what's being said. It's not about just accepting things blindly. So you can see this beautiful logical method being laid out. It's like a three-step process. Step 1, messengers show up with clear proofs, or bayinat. Step 2, their job is to explain and clarify the message. And step 3, well, the ball's in our court. The people are invited to use their minds, to think. It's an invitation to a journey, both intellectually and spiritually.
Okay, so after this invitation to think and reflect, the tone shifts, and it shifts hard. It becomes very sharp, very sobering. The passage now turns its attention to those who don't just reject the message, but who are actively plotting against it.
And listen to this question. It's rhetorical, but it's chilling. It's a direct challenge to the arrogance of people who do evil. It asks, do you really, truly feel secure?
The imagery it uses is so stark, isn't it? The earth swallowing them whole, a symbol of just sudden, complete ruin, or punishment coming from somewhere they never, ever saw it coming.
And the next few verses just keep building on this warning. They make it clear that divine justice isn't just one thing. It can come from anywhere. It can strike when people are just going about their daily lives, it can be sudden and just completely overwhelming, or it can be slow and gradual. The whole point is to just shatter that illusion that you can get away with anything. No one's routine, no one's power makes them immune to being held accountable.
And then, wow, just as suddenly as that intense warning began, the whole perspective shifts. It's like the camera pulls way, way back. We're lifted out of all this human drama, the persecution, the plotting, and we're asked to just look at the universe itself.
This is just such a beautiful verse. Think about it. It takes something so simple, something we see every day, a shadow moving with the sun, and presents it as an act of cosmic worship. A shadow, an inanimate thing, and it's described as prostrating, humbly submitting to the laws that God put in place. It's such a powerful and poetic way of saying that the entire physical world points back to its creator. And verse 49 just blows this idea wide open. It's not just the shadows anymore. It's everything. Every single creature in the heavens and on the earth, and even the angels themselves, are in this state of submission. And then there's this key little phrase at the end, and they are not arrogant. You can't miss the contrast there, right? All of creation just naturally submits. It's us, humans, who sometimes choose to rebel.
So this huge cosmic picture of everything in submission, everything being humble. This all leads us to the theological peak of the passage in verse 50. It's like everything we've just read has been building up to this one central message.
And what it all boils down to is this incredibly stark contrast. On one side, you've got the one all-powerful creator. He's the ultimate protector, the one who sustains everything, but needs nothing in return. And then on the other side, well, you have these false deities who are so powerless they can't even help themselves. This whole 10-verse journey really just lays bare how illogical it is to turn to anyone or anything other than the true source of all power.
So let's just do a quick recap of this incredible journey we took in just 10 verses. We started with real comfort for the persecuted. Then we looked at how guidance comes through humanity. That was followed by a serious warning for the arrogant. And finally, it all came together with this amazing lesson in humility we can learn just by looking at creation.
And all of this leaves us with one final thought to really chew on. The passage makes this powerful point, right? The entire universe, from a tiny shadow all the way up to the angels, is in this state of perfect, humble submission. So the question it leaves for you and me is a personal one. If that's how all of nature is, what does that teach us about our own?